your life just change? Like even just like a little bit? State legislators are done for the year. So what did they get done for you? Better yet, how will it actually affect you and your family? Politics guy Marshall Zellinger takes a look.
There were some record marathon sessions.
Hey, the governor and Democrats held a celebratory news conference today.
I'm really proud of the work our caucus and the Senate caucus did.
Hey, House and Senate Democrats did the same thing 1 hour earlier.
Ever heard us say save people money on health care?
Hey, the governor did it alone last Friday. What gives? Oh, they're touting their wins. Like state-funded full-day kindergarten starting next school year. So what if you don't have kids? What did lawmakers do that impacts you? There are 2 bills that passed in the last week that you'll now have a say on when they appear on your ballot in November. One asks you if the state should be allowed to override Tabor and keep money that might otherwise be refunded to you to fund schools and roads.
We, from past experience, know that people want a plain language ballot measure. We did that, and they want to know very specifically where the money's going to go, and we did that.
The other ballot issue asks if the state should legalize sports betting and then tax it to fund the Colorado water plant.
Senate Republicans will hold our press conference tomorrow.
You'll notice Republicans were not at these rah-rah news conferences. So we wanted to know, with Democrats in charge, what can Republicans look at and say, even though that Democratic bill passed, Republican voters should be okay with it. Senate Minority Leader Chris Holbert pointed to the paid family leave bill. Instead of the state charging a fee on employee paychecks and to their employers, that bill just became a study.
There is no fee tax, and the taxpayers of Colorado, business owners, and people who have jobs, I think are best served by that bill not passing in its original form, and we definitely effected change on that.
That paid family leave bill will be back next year, and the only thing that might get in its way next year, other Democrats. Kyle, this is an odd year. Not strange, it's literally odd, 2019. There's no election this year, but there is next year, so we can expect fewer controversial bills in 2020.
Yeah, the first year is the year that everybody goes for the red meat, and then the next year it's puppies and unicorns and stuff like that, and maybe paid family leave, as you said.
There you go.
Thanks, Marshall. The leader of the Senate Democrats is an elusive guy. And I mean, Marshall's fast. He's a runner. And this guy's been getting away from him all session. You've seen Senate President Leroy Garcia walking away from Marshall's questions, offering no comment time after time. Well, today he talked. We asked him to discuss the friction that's said to exist between him and some other Democratic leaders.
I get along with everyone. I try never to be in disagreement with people. I think it might come from my philosophy and my style of leadership. And that is because I recognize a principle called small unit leadership. That's a teaching in the Marine Corps. I empower others to be leaders, so I'm not going to micromanage.
Hey, while we had the Senate President there, I figured we should ask him again whether he's going to reimburse taxpayers for covering his $25,000 court-ordered judgment for blocking a critic on Facebook. We've been trying to get a yes or a no. We've been in the no comment zone, and here we remain.
But something I've been continuing to look into. I think, as you recognize, what my attorney shared with me and that I've continued to learn about is we're in this new age where, I'm held accountable for something that my staff or aides or interns. It's a new age that we find ourselves in. Again, if it's used as a tactic, I'm not afraid to having these types of conversations. The reality is it's a new chapter for us, and I'm examining how we can make sure that we're productive in that.
There definitely was not a yes or no in there. We asked again whether Senate President Garcia will reimburse taxpayers for paying the $25,000 Facebook fine, and he told us he will take a look at it. More likely, he knows that most reporters will probably stop asking about it soon. Nothing like an increased property tax assessment to make you look for every single flaw in a home you love. No way is this place worth that. What a piece of junk, huh? Because like clockwork, taxes are going up again across the metro area. Our Katie Eastman has the story of a homeowner who says there's no way she could sell her place for the assessed amount.
Let's put that somewhere else.
This is time Kelly Lucero feels lucky to have.
The only one that does that.
She works just 2 days a week to spend more time with her kids.
When'd you get nail polish on you?
But she worries this luxury could end because her property taxes are about to go up by several $1,000s. Her family can afford it, but she doesn't think the number is fair.
We can, but we would not be doing anything else.
2 years ago, her family bought this Thornton home brand new for $544,000. It now has 6 bedrooms, 3 baths, and a finished basement. She knew the value would go up, but the county assessor appraised it at $726,000.
Because we can't sell the house at $726,000. We could probably sell the house at maybe $6-ish.
The assessment date is as of January 1st.
Tax attorney Lucas Fry says if you disagree with an assessment, start gathering data for an appeal and reach out to a real estate professional. Most appeals are due by June 1st.
They have to look at comparable sales in the neighborhood, and that goes into their valuation. I'd start looking at those comparable sales.
Kelly already submitted her appeal. So we asked the spokesperson of the Colorado Association of Realtors if she could sell Kelly's house for $726,000. She doesn't think so. And she found comparable sales between $595,000 and $638,000.
I wish I could sell for $140,000 more than what I can actually sell for, but that is not the case at all.
For Next,
At all.
I'm Katie Eastman.
The Adams County assessor told us they appraise groups of properties. When an appeal is filed, they'll go back in and they'll assess the specific property in the group. If a homeowner still disagrees with the determination of the appeal, they can then appeal again to have a final decision made by an independent third party. Tomorrow is Election Day in Denver. 20% of mail-in ballots have been returned, and that low turnout likely favors incumbent Mayor Michael Hancock. But the Hancock campaign, taking nothing for granted, is sending out a last-minute misleading message to voters. A text message blast to voters says the mayor is, quote, the only candidate opposed to homeless camps in our parks and neighborhoods. Claims coupled with the fact that the mayor is opposed to Initiative 300, which would roll back the city's urban camping ban. But some of the mayor's challengers, Penfield Tate and Jamie Gillis, also oppose Initiative 300. The candidates differ on how to approach that issue of tackling homelessness in the city. The mayor's campaign claiming that all his opponents support homeless camps in neighborhoods and parks is obviously misleading. We have talked about the loophole in Colorado law that allows adults to send sexually explicit texts to 15, 16, and 17-year-olds as long as prosecutors can't find any pictures. Well, no more of that. Governor Polis closed that loophole when he signed a new law today. The bill was introduced this year after a teacher up in Craig was found not guilty of sexual exploitation of a child. He was accused of getting a student to send him nude photos, but those photos were never found. Democratic legislators killed the bill while it was in committee. A big surprise, broke that news here on Next last month. And then in a really rare move, they brought the bill back to life and passed it with bipartisan support. Our next question comes from a viewer named Clovis. Great name. Clovis asks, when does the state legislature's next session start? And why don't they work like the rest of us? So Clovis, if you're saying work like the rest of us, meaning full time, a lot of them do. They have regular day jobs that they go to outside the legislative session, and some legislators split their time during the session. As for a full-time year-round legislature, there are a few states, 10 by my count, that do it that way. Colorado's constitution specifies that our session can only run 120 days and must begin by the second Wednesday in January. Unless there's a special session called by Governor Polis, the next legislative session won't begin until next year, January 8th, 2020, running through May 6th. Joyce McConnell is trading the mountains of Appalachia for the Front Range. July 1st, she will become the first female president in Colorado State University history. She told me that CSU's challenges are not unique.
Access, success, career, indebtedness, declining state funding. Those are really very similar across the country.
You talk about issues of money. Do you think that CSU students are currently getting a fair value for the dollar they pay?
Absolutely. I have no question. State support is at about 12% right now, and CSU has done a really good job of keeping its tuition as low as possible. And I think the efficiencies that have been built in and the quality of the research and the teaching that's going on there, I think it's a bargain.
Do you think it's inevitable that the cost of tuition will rise year by year?
We hope not. I mean, we hope that there are other ways that we can be creative, both about efficiencies, about increases in quality, and then looking at other kinds of partnerships that might actually allow us to have other sources of revenue.
Help me understand that, sources of revenue. Are you talking about the idea of an innovation pipeline in terms of leveraging technology coming out of the university?
Well, I think that's really a key area, and being able to translate the phenomenal research that goes on at a university. It's often often said in the medical system, it's called bench to bedside. You know, at a school like CSU, we could look at it as as bench to barn. I think that being able to take the technological developments that are going on, whether it's in the Energy Institute or the veterinary hospital, or even in engineering and technology and artificial intelligence, there's tremendous opportunity there for commercialization. We just need to get on top of it.
My full conversation with CSU's incoming president is up on the next YouTube channel. There, McConnell talks about how she could not imagine coming into a university with that university's leadership split on her hiring, as CU's regents were split over the president they hired last week. This Bobcat isn't making a great save. It's stuck, and that's not how you Colorado. They are collecting the history of cannabis, but they don't want that dang stuff down in your basement.
Items that relate to the cannabis industry, but also capture a specific moment in time.
They'll show off their budding collection, and I will show myself out next. Did you see the coffee cup in last night's episode? Of course you did, because next viewers spot everything. So you saw Daenerys Stormborn of the House Targaryen, first of her name, the unburnt, even if that Starbucks coffee probably is. Everyone and their mother seemed to make a meme out of the Game of Thrones coffee cup left in the castle scene. Love the anti-littering take from Colorado Parks and Wildlife, tweeting, "We find coffee cups where they aren't supposed to be all the time. What's the big deal?" We all know not to litter, but leaving your sports nets out for a long period of time, also not how you Colorado. Bobcat got tangled up in a soccer net in the Golden Hills neighborhood in the Springs. Poor thing, looks like it's making a diving stave, but no, it is stuck in the air. Wildlife workers say this guy freed himself. Other animals end up seriously injured or dead in their struggle to escape. A reminder, that is not how you Colorado.
I hope you enjoyed sunshine and 70s because we're done with that weather pattern for a few days. Rain in the forecast and thunderstorms. Dramatic skies over Hartselle this afternoon and in Elbert County in the town of Elbert. Hail producing storms out on the plains. Our Corey Reppenhagen with 1-inch diameter hail out in the Lyman area. All of these thunderstorms are tracking quickly east-northeast into Nebraska and Kansas, where Storm Prediction Center has the bullseye, kind of ground zero near Wichita for hail and tornadic thunderstorms into the late evening time period. Tomorrow the focus shifts south into Oklahoma and central Texas, and the thunder showers tonight still may reach the metro area, even though we've been dry so far. Chance for rain, a little bit of wind, and then overnight fog for the drive tomorrow morning, and then rain by the afternoon. And the rain stays in the forecast through Wednesday and Thursday. Cloudy with a brief shower, rumble of thunder, or low at 45. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, high 58, fog early, rain in the afternoon. A rain could mix with snow early Thursday morning as we start off around freezing. Start to break out of it Friday, and it all moves out just in time for the upcoming weekend. A nice forecast with lots of sunshine for Mom.
History is happening all around us all the time. Take marijuana legalization. They're now trying to chronicle that history. And poor RTD, giving out expired party favors from when their train was supposed to open. Next. Marijuana-related items in your home could be historical artifacts, so all the more reason to find them before your kids do. History Colorado would appreciate having those items for their small but growing collection chronicling cannabis legalization.
We're interested in capturing different stories throughout the entire history of the state. This is one of the earliest pieces of cannabis collecting that we have, and this is the marijuana tax stamp. We are having a big push right now to collect items that are related to the cannabis industry, and these come from the Denver County Fair, and in 2014 they hosted the very first pot pavilion. I'm Melinda Seaton. I'm the curator of photography here at History Colorado. I have taken on the role of being the point person for our cannabis collecting initiative. This shirt here is the one from the Rock Mount Western Wear, and you can see how it has the embroidered cannabis sleeves. History Colorado is seeking any items related to the cannabis industry or personal stories related to the cannabis industry. We're focusing a lot around items or stories that are related to the passing of Amendment 64 because it was a significant moment in Colorado's history. So it was a special commemorative water pipe that was made just for the pot pavilion. In terms of the importance of collecting these types of items, even if it is still a political kind of hot button and we don't know what the future of the legalization of recreational or medicinal cannabis will be nationwide or even in the state in the next few decades, it's still important to document it because it's capturing a specific moment and something that was very important to the history of Colorado.
So get down to your basement or your son's room and get searching. If you think that something in your house would be a good fit for that collection, you're welcome to email the curator directly, Melinda Seaton. Her email's right there. We'll also put it in this article on 9news.com. Said it before, say it again. Next viewers spot everything, every mistake we make on this show, every mistake that's made out there, like the expired party favors RTD was handing out to celebrate its 2-year delayed train. That and your feedback next. all those years we were telling you about RTD's G-Line to Wheat Ridge and Arvada getting delayed again and again, I feel like we lost sight of the bigger story, which is what would happen to all the party favors that RTD bought for the expected 2016 opening? I mean, the little hats and the little blower things probably don't expire, but it would appear that the celebratory chapstick they're handing out to riders did. One of our viewers spotted this over the weekend. I am sorry, but is this not the funniest thing? If your train is so delayed in opening that your party favors expire, the world is telling you something. RTD promises the chapstick is totally safe to use. They checked with poison control, so feel free to use that RTD chapstick on your lips or anything else that's chapped right about now. A number of you wrote in absolutely loving the graphic that our editor Jeff Sawtelle made, the Game of Thrones kind of thing. Ronnie Cox says, your graphics department has outdone themselves. No department, that's just our buddy Jeff. And Scott Hoagland says, great, the cash machine building was awesome. Sheila Gwynn says, you inspired me and my husband to take our convertible on the crabapple route. That's down in Littleton. If you missed that story on Friday, go check it out on the next Facebook page. Beautiful drone photography of this route of crabapples around Littleton. And if you have a convertible, that seems like a nice way to see it. Malachi says, Kyle, all you're missing is a red nose. I think that's a Blinky the Clown comment, and I welcome it. See you next time.